Good morning and happy Thursday. It is February 27th, 2020. We're starting our morning's readings from Reading from the Tao on page 38. True virtue is not virtuous. True virtue is not virtuous. Therefore, it has virtue. Superficial virtue never fails to be virtuous. Therefore, it has no virtue. True virtue does not act and has no intentions. Superficial virtue acts and always has intentions. True humanness acts but has no intentions. True rightness acts but has intentions. True propriety acts, and if you don't respond, they will roll up their sleeves and threaten you. Thus, when the Tao is lost, there is virtue. When virtue is lost, there is humanness. When humanness is lost, there is rightness. And when rightness is lost, there is propriety. Now, propriety is the external appearance of loyalty and sincerity, and the beginning of disorder. Occult abilities are just flowers of the Tao and the beginning of foolishness. Therefore, the master dwells in the substantial and not in the superficial, rests in the fruit and not in the flower. Let go of that and grasp this. Okay, another deep teaching from the Tao for today. First reading from Believing in Myself, and thank you for joining. If you haven't joined before, I do readings from Believing in Myself, Language of Letting Go, and Course in Miracles. And of course, I'm starting the readings off with a reading from the Tao. Okay, a quote from Alexander Pope. Whoever thinks a faultless piece to see, thinks that ne'er was, nor is, nor shall be. Perfectionism is complex and subtle. Out loud, few of us would say, perfection is my only acceptable standard. But in the privacy of our own minds, many of us talk out of the other side of our mouths. I must always give 110%. I must never fail a friend. For winners, there's only first place and no place. Setting a high standard and holding yourself to this is certainly admirable behavior, but no one who shoots too low accomplishes very much. But there is a big difference between striving for a high standard and expecting yourself to achieve it every time out. No one can always put out 100%, 110% effort. There are days when we only have 80% to give. No one never drops the ball or bungles an opportunity. Even world-class performers have their days off. And first place is only as sweet as it is because it's not a permanent position, not for anyone. In life, there is no such thing as a perfect score. Impossible demands on self make self-esteem impossible too. If our approval is only won by superhuman feats, we won't have much to cheer about. How much healthier and happier we will be when we eliminate words like always and never from our inner code of conduct. We need to hear more applause. My opinion of myself must not rest on words like always and never. I'll repeat that. My opinion of myself must not rest on words like always or never. Good reminder. All right. Here we go. February 27th from Language of Letting Go. This is also a good one. People pleasers. Have you ever been around people pleasers? They tend to be displeasing. Being around someone who's turned inside out to please another is often irritating and anxiety producing. People-pleasing is a behavior we may have adapted to survive in our family. We may not have been able to get the love and attention we deserved. We may not have been given permission to please ourselves, to trust ourselves, and to choose a course of action that demonstrated self-trust. People-pleasing can be overt or covert. We may run around fussing over others, chattering a mile a minute, when what we are really saying is, I hope I'm pleasing you. Or we may be more covert, quietly going through life making important decisions based on pleasing others. Taking other people's wants and needs into consideration is an important part of our relationships. We have responsibilities to friends and families and employers. We have strong inner responsibility to be loving and caring, but people-pleasing backfires. Not only do others get annoyed with us, we often get annoyed when our efforts to please do not work as we planned. The most comfortable people to be around are those who are considerate of others, but ultimately please themselves. Help me, God, work through my fears and begin to please myself. All right. Moving along to our last reading of the day. And this one is on the body and its physical shortcomings. The body is the ego's projection. Many of us are critical of our bodies. We perceive ourselves as too tall or too short, too fat or too thin. The list goes on. What we think, however, is what we get. Our bodies reflect the message the ego dictates. This can be confusing, but remember, we tend to focus on our imperfections, and the attention we give them strengthens them. So while we claim to want a better physique or a healthier body, we dwell on how our bodies disappoint us. In the process, we manifest those disappointments. Stopping a particular thought pattern takes willingness. We need to change our perspective intentionally and radically and stop lecturing ourselves about how we should look. Aligning with the Holy Spirit rather than the ego diminishes the importance of how we look. The miracle is that how we look changes too. My body is only as real as I make it today. I am free to think only love. All right, that ends the readings for today, February 27th. I hope you're all having a great week. We're nearing the weekend. And thank you for tuning in. Subscribe and check out the other videos if you haven't had a chance to. And take care. Have a great day. Bye now.